My name is Gary Strauss, and the case study that I chose to discuss for the Week 4 case study assignment is Hall versus the University of Minnesota from Chapter 7 of our textbook, Case Studies in Sport Law. A quick summary of the case. In December 1981, Mark Hall was a 21-year-old senior at the University of Minnesota who was on a basketball scholarship. He was enrolled in a non-baccalaureate degree program at the university's General College. His program terminated on the accumulation of approximately 90 credits. To be eligible for sports, he needed to be enrolled as a candidate for a degree. He meets the Big Ten eligibility standards for grade point average and credit accumulation. He attempted to enroll in a degree program at the University Without Walls, which was a college within the university and at the General College. He applied 2 times and was denied on both occasions. Due to not being enrolled in a degree program, he lost his eligibility. And the facts of the case: after his non-baccalaureate degree program was terminated, the plaintiff, Mark Hall, attempted to enroll in a degree program at the University Without Walls. He applied 2 times, in August 1981 and in October of 1981. In each case, the University Without Walls Admissions Committee determined that he should be admitted to the University Without Walls introductory program based on his application. On both occasions, the directors of the program intervened in the process and directed the Admissions Committee to reject the application. This type of interference by the directors never occurred in any other case or to any other student. Prior to the director's intervention, one of them contacted Dean Lupton of the General College and summarized the information conveyed by the dean in a confidential memo regarding the plaintiff. The memo listed 9 factors why Mark Hall should not be admitted to the degree program. First one was the political aspects of admitting the plaintiff. The plaintiff's substantial travel record. He took 1 weekend trip to Chicago in the fall of 1981. The plaintiff had earned A's in courses he was not eligible to be enrolled in. The General College had found it necessary to monitor the plaintiff's work. The plaintiff improperly turned in work on Regent's letterhead stationery. Number 6, the plaintiff turned in work done by other students. And they also said that every withdrawal on the plaintiff's transcript was originally an N, which is the equivalent to an F. And that within 4 weeks of commencement of classes, the plaintiff typically had earned a grade of N. And lastly, that the plaintiff had put through fake approval forms on more than one occasion. The memo further states that Dean Lupton indicated that the plaintiff would not be accepted into a degree program at the General College, even though the plaintiff had not even applied at the time. The information in the memo was conveyed to the admissions committee and effectively instructed the committee to reject the plaintiff's application on both occasions. The University Without Walls was opposed to the procedures that were set forth in the memo and used to keep him from being admitted on his 2 applications. They distributed a pamphlet explaining the policies and procedures of admission. There were 4 areas noted in the pamphlet. The information that the students present in their application will determine whether they are admitted to the University Without Walls. Admissions decisions are based on their responses to the application form. Their applications will be reviewed and acted upon by the admissions committee, which is made up of University Without Walls advisors. You will be notified in writing of the committee's decision. If you are not accepted, the reasons for the decision will be explained. The admissions committee will determine which applicants will be admitted for enrollment in the introductory period. They further explained that applicants to the University Without Walls are supposed to be judged solely on the basis of their application form. It seems apparent that the plaintiff was not judged solely on his application. In both of his rejection letters, none of the allegations from the memo were listed as reasons for his failure to gain admission. The court case. On December 15, 1981, the plaintiff, Mark Hall, filed action against the University of Minnesota in U.S. District Court for the District of Minnesota, arguing that they denied his application for admissions without affording him due process. The plaintiff needed to be eligible by January 4, 1982 in order to play during the winter quarter. On December 29, 1981, the plaintiff moved the court for a preliminary injunction compelling his admission to a degree program. The plaintiff and the defendant agreed to expedite discovery, and the plaintiff deposed 9 individuals associated with the university, and the defendant deposed the plaintiff. Because the order must be issued prior to January 4th, 1982 to be of any benefit to the plaintiff, the court reviewed all of the depositions and affidavits and has considered the arguments by both parties given during their oral presentation. The plaintiff's argument was that according to the evidence, if he's able to represent the university on their basketball team, he will have a significant opportunity to be as high as a second-round draft pick in the NBA draft and have a probable guaranteed first-year contract. If he is denied the ability to play, his NBA chances will be diminished and a possible guaranteed contract would be unlikely. His draft stock could fall as low as the 6th round. The defendant's argument is that public education is a privilege. Admitting Hall into the degree program would lower their academic standards and their integrity would be compromised. Dean Lupton testified that Hall's summer school credits were not evidence in determining progress within his academic career. The decision from the court looked at 3 factors: the private interest affected by the action, the risk of erroneous deprivation of such interest through the procedures used and that value of additional safeguards, and 3, the government's interest, with the government being the University of Minnesota. The key factors in the decision, the second factor was in the plaintiff's favor. Hall's application was not treated the same as all of the other applications. Hall should have been notified about the allegations regarding his conduct in the General College. If those allegations were used to deny his admittance, he should have been given an opportunity to defend himself. And the summer courses were offered for credit by the University of Minnesota, so the fact that he took those and received passing grades should count towards his eligibility. And the ruling from the court ruled in favor of the plaintiff, Mark Hall, and required that the University of Minnesota admit him into a degree program. They found that he was not judged solely on his application. The manner in which the university processed his applications were unfair and violated his due process. Implications for the athletic administrators. Your school needs to decide what they want to be. Do they want to be known more for academics or for athletics? It can be both, but the athletic administrator and the academic people have to work together to form proper guidelines. And lastly, once a set of procedures are decided upon, every student must be afforded the same opportunities and be treated the same. This concludes the presentation.